welcome to Book Obsession. I'm Ashley Gunn. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Recently I had one of my friends ask me who my favorite erotic author was or erotic book, and the truth is I don't have one. But the longer I thought about it, the more I kept thinking about this author, and that is Olivia Cunning, because she writes some of the most incredible erotic series, and the truth is comes up with some of the most unique and incredible kinks, some of which she actually helps the people, the characters, with their kinks, because it kind of almost is therapy. I'll explain. She has 3 series that I've read: the Sinners on Tour series, Exodus Ends, which is kind of a branch off of Sinners on Tour, and then One Night with Soul Regret. The Sinners on Tour series and One Night Soul Regret are a little different, but in some ways very similar. All 3 of these series are about bands. One Night with Soul Regret covers a little less time. So it'll cover days or weeks, and the way that it's written is so you go through all of the characters in the band and then you start again at the beginning, where Sinners on Tour and Exodus Ends covers a longer period of time, and so you get character development a little faster because you don't have to go through this series and start again. Both of these series, or I should say all 3 of these series, have some really fun, unique kinks, and I'll try and let you know which series they are. But I want to talk about some of those, because when you're talking about erotic novels, sometimes, yes, it's just about descriptions and it's just about being very graphic when they're having sex. But in this specific instance, it's all about the kinks. Olivia Cunning series is all about what makes them different than the other people. My favorite of all of the stories, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy, is Eric, one of the characters from Sinners on Tour. And that is because his problem is premature ejaculation. And when have you ever read a book about a man and that be his thing? So he has a difficult time being involved sexually, even though he's in a band and famous, because he gets off really fast. Anyways, he ends up meeting this girl, Rebecca, who makes it her life's mission for him to last a little longer and a little longer and a little longer, which turns into this incredible sex life for him. And I just thought that was amazing of Olivia, because the truth is that any guy out there who suffers from this and reads this book is just going to pass it off to his partner and be like, this is what we need to do, babe. She's just incredibly awesome about it, never makes Eric feel bad about it, and I just thought that was a fantastic path to go down. That being said, there are a lot of different kinks in these series. So in general, in Sinners on Tour, there's going to be a threesome, there's going to be some public sex. There's this, Jace's story is about the fact that he likes to be dominated, and he brings his dominatrix on the bus with him. And that's what I'm talking about with therapy, because his dominatrix is basically helping him work through the fact that he likes to be punished because he feels guilty about some stuff that happened in his childhood, and his dominatrix wants him to realize that he doesn't need to be punished, and that if he's going to have the pain, he needs to have the pleasure with it, kind of a thing. It's very therapeutic for Chase. Yes, at the beginning it's just about being hurt, but he runs into the right dominatrix, and Aggie just really wants him to learn to let himself enjoy life again, and so it works really well together. Another story like this that I found really interesting was Ty's story, because he's a bisexual man who starts dating Reagan and is really in love with her, but at the same time trying to be straight doesn't quite work, so he tries to self-satisfy by using a dildo. It really upsets Reagan because she thinks that he's gay and not bisexual, so it becomes this whole real conversation about the fact that him trying to be something he's not really, it wasn't fair to anybody. He ends up dating both a man and a woman, and Reagan is the same. She ends up dating 2 men, and then obviously they have the 3rd man in their relationship. But it was just a very interesting story about what happens when you try to force yourself into the box that other people try to make for you. Alright, so we're going to move on from Sinners on Tour, and we're going to talk about some of the characters and kinks that Olivia wrote for One Night with Soul Regret, because personally I found these to be more unique, and I'd never heard of some of these before. I don't know if you have, but blew my mind. The first one we have to talk about is Gabe. First of all, the character Gabe is an incredible man. I really thought he was wonderful. But he likes to invent sex toys and try them out on his partners, which I had never heard before. I mean, he's good at it, don't get me wrong. He's not like hurting them, he's doing it for their pleasure, but I had never heard of something like that before. They also have a character who, in his home, has a camera set up so that when he's having sex on his bed, it's projected on a whole bunch of TVs. They have one guy actually has the girl use a strap on. I've never read that before. One of the guys use like real integral knots. I forget what that's called. And then they have like public sex or whatever that's called when you do role playing, where there's a whole scene and other people, strangers involved. Anyways, obviously very unique, very interesting, very out of the box thinking kings for Olivia Cunning. So if you're interested in erotic series, you're really interested in like I said, the kinky part of erotic novels, that's what you're going to find with Olivia Cunning. All of the series I've read, like I said, Sinners on Tour, One Night with So Regret, and Exodus Ends has that type of sex in it. She just writes really good stories, and so I personally found her to be an amazing author, and like I said, I've read all of these books. Clearly I thought she was great to read that many books. If you like this review, go ahead and like it. If you have any questions or comments, leave that down below. And then if you want my reviews every Tuesdays and Thursdays, subscribe. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you again shortly.